Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly forecast for July 4th through the 10th. This is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I am setting the intention for the week ahead, but you might see this video a few weeks from now, a few months from now, a few years from now. So you're going to see it whenever you're meant to hear the messages that are in it. Keep in mind, this is a general reading. Not every single message is going to resonate, and that's okay. Take what does, leave what doesn't. So without further ado, my dears and my darlings, let's see what's coming up here for the Sagittarius collective for the next 7 days. One more shuffle. Okay. And we're going to move you all just a little bit closer. And the first card that's coming up here for the Sagittarius collective is the Death card. Now, this is a Major Arcana card. Major Arcana cards are going to come up anytime that we're coming into a significant new chapter in our life, a defining moment. The things that we're dealing with are directly connected to things we came here to accomplish, things we came here to succeed at. And so this can be the ending of a cycle or ending of a chapter in your life. But the Death card always comes in where one thing is ending and something new is beginning. So it's really a transition card. And it's a card of rebirth. Like something new is coming out of whatever is ending. Sometimes the Death card can come up as ego death. So some of you Sagittarius may be feeling this sense or this feeling of like, I don't like what I used to like. I can't stand being around the places and things and people that I used to like being around. I don't like the TV shows I used to like. I don't like the music I used to listen to. And so you might think that, oh, well, maybe I'm just losing my joy. Maybe nothing makes me happy anymore. But really what's happening is you're shaking off the conditioning and the programming, and you're coming back to the authentic self, and you're rediscovering yourself. Like you're learning what you like versus what you've been conditioned or what you've been taught to like. And you're releasing this image, you're releasing this like feeling like you have to prove yourself or you have to live up to expectations. There's a sense of like being reborn, or like maybe, I don't want to say reinventing yourself, but going back to who you are on a soul level, okay, versus how you were taught or trained to be, but rather being really truly who you are. There could be that sense of a rebirth in this way. Now, the Death card is representative of Scorpio energy. If you have Scorpio placements, there can be big changes or big shifts happening for you in those houses or in those areas of your life. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio where there's a very significant dynamic, or you may be embarking on a journey with a Scorpio because this is Scorpio energy. But oftentimes this is some kind of a new beginning, a new beginning, letting go of the old. The thing that, because, okay, the Death card can indicate endings and new beginnings, and so can the Tower card. But the difference between the two, typically the Tower card is like we didn't see it coming. It's abrupt, it's a shock. When something is ending and something new is beginning with the Death card, typically it's something that it's ran its course. It's not surprising you that it's ending. It's not surprising you that it's over, right? Like it's something that it's run its course. Whatever you were gonna get from it, you got it. Whatever you were meant to do in it, you've done it. And you're like, okay, like now it's on to the next thing. Now it's on to a new chapter. So typically it's not going to be something that's surprising you. You might be a little concerned, Like, oh, like, is this a river that dried up? Is my luck running out? Or am I really meant to walk away from this? Or should I keep trying? Should I try to revive it? Should I try to bring new life into it? And this card comes up to say, look, like, it's ran its natural course, and it's okay for you to move in a new direction now. It's okay for you to go in this new endeavor or in this new journey. The next card that's coming up here for Sagittarius is the Two of Wands. And this could be partnerships, okay? Maybe some of you are wanting to go out on your own, or go out on your own and partner up with somebody else. Doesn't have to be romantic. If you're new to this channel, welcome. In the weekly forecasts, I want to focus on you and your energy. I know that there's so many tarot readers out there that focus on love and romance, and there's such an abundance of it that I try to make sure in the weekly forecasts I'm focusing on the other areas of life, whatever comes up. Love readings I do once a month. There's a link in the description that will take you to the July love readings. But outside of love, the Two of Wands can be friendships, collaborations, business partnerships. And the Two of Wands for me sometimes comes in as a warning. Okay? Sagittarius, you may be at this time in your life where something is ending. And there could be someone in your life who knows that this job is up, or your lease is up, or this relationship has ended. And so you could have someone that's coming to you with an offer, right? Like, oh, Sagittarius, I have something for you. Why don't you come over this way and you can work for me or for my company, or you can come out and visit and stay with me. I have an extra room, or like whatever it might be. You might have somebody offering you something. But the Two of Wands tells me that you need to get more information, because you may not be on the same page as this person. A lot of the times when I see the Two of Wands, the person who's offering you this thing, they know that you're going to be very beneficial for them. They know that they're really going to benefit by pulling you into this situation. They also know that you have absolutely positively no idea how much they're going to benefit from you. So they may lowball you. They may give you a low offer. They might not be completely and totally upfront with you. That's why the Two of Wands comes in and says, do your research, gather your information, weigh the options, go into this knowing, go into this knowledgeable and educated, so that you can negotiate, so that you can set your terms, so that you can make sure that you all are on the same page. Maybe you're going to look at salaries or job requirements or job descriptions or qualifications, or somebody might be telling you, hey, I have an extra room, come and stay with me, and just take your time. If you want to go back to school, you can go back to school. If you want to start your business, you can start your business. If you want to look for work, you can look for work. It's cool, whatever. Just come. I have extra space. Maybe you can help me out around the house. Maybe you can help me with the kids here and there. You might say, okay, cool, that sounds fine. And you're thinking that maybe you're going to do some light cleaning. Maybe you're going to cook, a couple of meals a few times a week. Maybe pick up the kids, drop the kids off a couple of times a week. And so you might just think, okay, cool. But then you go and you get there in the situation, and it's like, oh, I need this and I need that. And can you run to the store? And oh, can you go to the cleaners for me? And oh, you know what? I think there's a leak in the roof. Do you mind going up there and seeing if you can fix it or patch it up? And oh, you know what? I have to work late every single night this week, and I might just sleep at the office because I don't want to come back too late. So if you don't mind, just making sure the kids get up on time, and you feed them breakfast, and like all of a sudden you're like around the clock. You're around the clock babysitter, around the clock on call personal assistant, and you didn't expect that was going to happen, right? That's not what you had in mind. You just thought you were going to help a few hours a week. Well, how can you avoid that? Ask questions, gather information, right? Like, how many hours a week are we talking? What kinds of things are you going to have me helping with? Like, what would be the kinds of things I'd be doing? Are you going to have me do overnight care? Like, how many times a week? And maybe you're not comfortable doing overnight care. Maybe like, look, I'm not going to do any overnight care. I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm just giving an example, right? Ask questions. Ask questions, because sometimes we think that what we think of something is what the other person is thinking, but we may have different definitions, right? So ask questions. What does that mean? What kinds of things would I be doing? Going into a work situation or a job offer, right? You might want to ask questions. What are the job requirements? What are the job duties? You might look that up and you might realize, okay, well, they're offering me a salary, but I'm looking at this position and this is actually 2 or 3 positions put together. Then you can go back and you can say very respectfully, thank you so very much, but I've noticed that the salary you're offering me is a fair salary for this position, but as I'm looking at the requirements, this is this position and a couple of other positions. Therefore, I think X amount would be a fair reimbursement, right? Like, you can go in with logical negotiations. So 2 of Wands is like weighing your options, getting information, going into something more carefully. Like I said, a lot of the times I see it coming up because someone knows how beneficial you're going to be to them and they know that you don't know. So you better get knowing. You better figure it out. You better see, how is this person going to benefit from me? The next card that's coming up here for you all is the 7 of Wands. Lots of fire energy for our fire Sagittarius. So the 7 of Wands can be standing your ground. Okay, so 7 of Wands can be standing your ground. Now, to be honest with you, to have the Death card and the 2 of Wands followed by the 7 of Wands gives me a feeling, in a sense, that you're making a decision, right? Like, something is ending and you're going in a new direction. But the 7 of Wands is like the people around you don't like it. They don't like the direction you're going in because you're very beneficial and now they're not going to benefit from you anymore. And so the 7 of Wands comes up sometimes to say, look, don't stop to try to reason with people about your decision or to try to talk it out or like explain to them, because when the 7 of Wands is here, these people down below, they're not in a reasonable mindset. They're not looking to reason. They're not looking to come to an understanding. They want what they want and they're going to push their agenda, right? That's it. They're not looking to make peace. It's, this is what we want and this is what you need to do. Well, so 7 of Wands just says you don't need to get into disagreements. It's not your job to prove yourself to anybody. It's not your job to convince anybody of your choices or your decisions. And just keep doing what you're doing and stay focused. 7 of Wands also sometimes comes up for me in a reading to say, this is not the time to be extra. Like, say you're doing something, you're taking steps and it's working. And then you say, well, how can I make it work even faster? How can I make it even better? And then we end up ruining it. We end up messing with the flow. So 7 of Wands is like, a lot of the times, don't need to be extra right now. Just keep doing what you're doing. Nothing wrong with the original way. Nothing wrong with the current way. This is not the time to get too fancy or to try to push something along faster, because then we end up slowing it down or messing it up. Also sometimes 7 of Wands, you have to be cautious because there could be people who want to make you look bad, or they want to make you like look in a certain kind of way. So they may say things or do things to aggravate you or antagonize you to get a reaction out of you. And then they're like, see, I told you Sagittarius was unhinged. I told you Sagittarius was rude. I told you Sagittarius was mean. And they're like crying and like, pointing the finger at you. Meanwhile, they're the ones who kept poking and poking and poking and poking and poking at you until you turned around and you said something or you reacted. And you were like, okay, then I'm just going to shut it down. Now, it might not be worth your while to shut it down. because this person this whole time is trying to paint you in a negative light. So be aware and be cautious of that. Be aware and be cautious of that. And just know that it's okay to remove yourself from the situation, to avoid that person, to avoid that drama. It's okay not to engage. Okay? The next card that's coming up here for Sagittarius is the Knight of Wands. And so Knight of Wands can come up in a couple of different ways. It can come up in the way of something being expedited or something being hurried along. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Scorpio also got the Knight of Wands. So some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio. If you have Scorpio placements, it might be a good idea for you to check out the Scorpio reading, because it might feel like a bit of a continuation for you from this reading, because I feel like Scorpio also got the Knight of Wands. Now, this could be you in your Sagittarius energy. It could be a fellow fire sign, so Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. Knight of Wands has a few different meanings, but in this reading, it can be the sense of something being expedited. Like you were taking your time with something, or you weren't planning to do something until much later, and now you're finding yourself that things are just happening in a way where you're being pushed to move forward with certain plans much sooner than you had anticipated, much sooner than you thought you were going to. Knight of Wands can also be an ultimatum. Maybe you're giving somebody an ultimatum. I felt like somebody was giving Scorpio an ultimatum. So if you have Scorpio placements, you may be receiving an ultimatum. Maybe some of you are giving a Scorpio an ultimatum. It doesn't have to be a Scorpio, but we do have the Death card. This did come up for them also. But sometimes the Knight of Wands is like an ultimatum. Like it's this is what you have to do. You have to, like, it's this or nothing, right? That's your only option. It's this or nothing. So that being said, Sagittarius, some of you may be presented with an option and you may be negotiating it. And no matter what you're negotiating or the reason that you're bringing to the table, this Knight of Wands might be telling you, okay, that's all great and fine, but I said what I said and I didn't stutter, so you can take it or leave it. They might not be open to negotiate. Now, I think this is what you need to know, and this is what you need to take away from it. This is a free will decision, whether or not you're going to work with this person or accept this offer. But if you have someone who's telling you it's this or nothing, they're not bluffing. So if you say, okay, well then nothing, and you think that they're going to backtrack, they're not going to backtrack, right? And that limit might fall at different places for different ones of you. Some of you may negotiate, and that person might say, oh, okay, all right, I'm willing to give you this much more, but here's my limit. So I feel when somebody tells you this is the limit, they mean it. And so maybe you're thinking, well, maybe I can push them a little bit more. Maybe I can push them a little bit more. They're not going to be pushed. They're not going to be budged a little bit more. So for some of you, this ultimatum may come during negotiations. Like you might get some of the things you're asking for, and then you're like, okay, see, yeah, they need me, they need me. And so you try to negotiate more and add more and add more and add more. But when you get to the point where they say, this is it, this is the final line, they mean that. They're not bluffing. So, and maybe some of you, this is a general reading, so your circumstances are going to be different. Maybe for some of you, that final line, you might say, you know what, then that's fine, right? If that's fine, then I'm more than happy to walk away from this, because where you're drawing the line, where you're giving me the limit, it's not enough for me, right? But if you think that they're bluffing and you think, oh, maybe I can push it more. No, they mean it. They mean it. So I feel like you're going to negotiate at some point. The negotiations will reach the limit. Maybe you're feeling confident. You're like, okay, well, they've given in so far, so they're bluffing. They're not bluffing. I feel like you should negotiate. Don't be afraid to negotiate. But when you're told this is the limit, that's the limit. And so you have to think about it then and there and just kind of decide, okay, all right, so what I've negotiated for myself this far, is this enough? And am I going to be really upset if they mean they mean this ultimatum, and I say, forget it, and then they don't call me back, or they just say, okay, bye? Like, am I going to be upset? You have to ask yourself that. So I don't know, I just feel like somebody's playing hardball here. I don't feel like you need to be afraid of it. Like I said, negotiate because you are beneficial, but at some point there's a boundary, and they're going to let you know where that boundary is, and they're going to mean it. Okay? You may want to check out your moon sign, your rising sign. Some weeks your moon sign or rising sign might resonate more than your sun sign. If you want to schedule a private reading with me, there's a link in the description of the video that will take you to my scheduling page, calendly.com/amethystangelite. You can schedule a private reading with me there. Love readings for July are linked in the description of the video. The weekly forecasts are linked in the description of the video if you want to check out your other placements. And every single day I post a daily message to this channel as well. So if you want to start the day off with a daily message, be sure to check that out. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I hope you all have a fabulous week ahead, and hope to see you in the daily messages. Bye, Sagittarius. Take care, my dears.